Well, it goes right back to pretty much the day I was born, which was back in July 1965. Obviously, a year later, we won the World Cup, as we all know, and I was dressed up as World Cup Willie. That's how old I am. I was only 11 months old, and the mascot was World Cup Willie, and there's a picture of me as World Cup Willie, which is awful. But well, I mean, at the time when I was born, my family were living in the East Ham. You know, a lot of our families originated, as we know, from the East End, and I was no different. Mum and Dad, West Ham fans. Nans and granddads, West Ham fans. Uncles and aunts, West Ham fans. Yeah. You know, both my granddads, I think, were at the 1923 FA Cup final, the famous White Horse Cup final. My great uncle was a founder member of the Supporters Club at West Ham, so you know, to say it runs through the blood is a bit of an understatement. And most importantly, I was born in West Ham, so I've now got my passport. Every time I go abroad, I open the page, and it says there, birthplace West Ham, and that will never ever be taken away from me. So, yeah, I mean, just born into a mad West Ham family, really. And you know, I think I probably would have about. I think the earliest game I could sort of remember going to was about in the early 70s. I think 72, and we was at home to Forest, and my dad took me on the old North Bank, and obviously I was very small. I'm still small now, Russ, as you know, but you know, I was very small at the time. Probably took a crate with me. I mean, chucked me down the front of the North Bank, and yeah, we won the game 4-2. I do believe my hero Pop Robson scored a couple of goals that day, but I don't remember much about it. But it was like a bug. Like once you've been, it was like, oh, Dad, when can we go to the next game? And I'm sure many people sort of listening to this interview would feel the same. That you go there, sometimes you're taken against your will, like whatever. You go to a game, don't you? And then you get the bug, and it stays with you for the rest of your life. And you know, I think as a West Ham fan, we all do different things in life, and obviously professionally I had to make certain decisions. But you know, personally, I don't think if you're born a West Ham fan, you don't ever change for the rest of your life. You were always a West Ham fan. Because I've got twin boys, and obviously it was really important to me that my boys were West Ham. All the kits when they were young and everything. And I didn't take them over to West Ham until they was about 7. And by this time, this would have been 2003 when we got relegated with the All-Star team. We got relegated with, and with the Championship. And I think the first game was at home to Wigan. And so I've taken my boys to the first game. And anyway, I looked round after about 20 minutes, and they were sitting there with their Game Boys like that, not even looking at the game. And anyway, I think we lost it. I think we lost 3-0 or 3-1 at home to Wigan. It was an awful display, one of those. And my son Bill looked at me and he went, "Dad," he said, "do West Ham always lose?" And I looked at him, I went, "Bill, that's not the point. That's not the point. You're a West Ham fan, you're a West Ham boy, you're coming to the game whether you like it or not. It's not about whether they win or lose, it's about going to the game." And it was one of those conversations. But I'm pleased to say they're now 22, the pair of them, and they're both mad West Ham fans, which is great for me. I was just a mad fan. I travelled the country, you know. I was a 13, 14-year-old lad, and I would get on the old special trains back in the 70s, and you know, invariably there'll be someone pulling the emergency call, or you pull into a station and the doors were going, and there was all sorts of things going on, and there was always a fight of some sort going on with. But you know, I didn't go for that. Listen, I was only a kid. I was a 13, 14. Went to watch the football. I was just obsessed with the football, and I mean, it sounds mad now. You look back and you think your mum and dad let you get on a train at 13 years of age. And you know, I was at the infamous Newcastle game where we played up there in 1979, I think it was, and they threw a petrol bomb at the West Ham fans. And you know, I spent the whole game with a programme on my head, so because all the stones and rocks and bricks came over, and all I wanted to do was watch the football. I wasn't interested in anything else. So, but you know, but it was crazy for me because at the same time as I was being a mad fan, I was also developing as a footballer, and I got spotted by West Ham as a schoolboy at 12, and then I just progressed through the academy and everything. And I think they had high hopes for me, but the thing they always said was, he's too small, he's never going to make it. He's too small. And that was it. He's a good goal scorer, but he's too small. And funny enough, I used that as a weapon for myself, really, because the more people said it, and my dad used to take great pride in telling me, "Oh yeah, they've said you're too small again." And the more they said I was too small and I was not going to make it, the more it inspired me to actually go and do it. But you know, to be as a 15-year-old who went to Wembley to watch West Ham in the '81 League Cup final, You know, fantastic performance by the lads. We lost in a replay. That I went to both the games, and I was 15, and then within pretty much 18 months, I'm making my debut. Looking, you know, to go from being a fan to all of a sudden, like, you know, I've got Parksy in goal, and, you know, Paul Allen, who played in the 80 Cup final, and, you know, good pal of mine, and Alan Devonshire and Alan Dickens, and all these players. You know, it was just incredible for me, and, you know, to score on your debut and beat Spurs 3-0, it was just, if you get, look, I've got a blank bit of paper in front of me, look, that's my research, my team, my West Ham team, look, absolutely nothing. But what I was going to say is that if you gave me that blank bit of paper now and said, write down what your debut wants to be like, how you want your debut to go, I would write down exactly how my debut went. I wouldn't put anything else. It was just a phenomenal day for me, and, you know, people always say, what's your favourite goal? And same answer, my first goal for West Ham. Always my favourite goal.